Yes. Hello, what up? Triple B base boxing basement in the house. We talk reality and we talk truth. We talk boxing. So, yeah, I meant to do a video about this when I first saw it originally. It's such a random story, you know. Adam Azim. So he's one of the biggest prospects, and like the promoters love an Asian fighter. Back in the day, I mean, obviously there's a lot higher Asian population now in the UK than there ever has been, but back in the day, Asians were not that interested in boxing, or even sports really. You get me? Um, and bread and circus type scenarios. They're just working too long hours probably. But yeah. Uh, obviously after Nazim Hamid was not from Asia. Well, technically he is actually Yemen. Is Yemen in Asia? Yeah, Yemen is technically in Asia. But what I mean by Asian, in the UK, when you say Asian, you mean Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, those countries. Whereas in the United States and probably the rest of the world, when you say Asian, they mean the Far East, Chinese, Thai, Korean, Japanese. It's quite confusing. And it's stupid, man. They need to make proper decisions. Asia is a big continent, right? It ain't all the same in Asia. You get all kinds in Asia. Anyway, yeah, so Adam Azim. So, well, after Nazim Hamed made it big, right? Then a lot of Asian guys. Because Hamed, he is Yemeni, but he looks actually Pakistani, or from that area. He doesn't actually look that Yemeni, Arabic, funnily enough. Most people would have assumed. And obviously, when you see people you relate to more, you're more likely to, whatever it is, it's not always culture or race or whatnot. It can be other stuff, personality, but you're more likely to aspire to be a bit like them. So you start to get a lot more boxers from the Asian community. The thing is, though, right? I remember back in the day, one of my amateur countries would go, the problem is, like, all these Asian kids want to box like Nazim Ahmed. And they box with their hands down, and a lot of them get chinned. Because you got to have super reflexes to be able to box in that manner. It's very dangerous way of boxing, the hands down style. And, it's an Ingle ting, but people are getting, people are doing it more and more. And especially you get fighters like George Groves, and David Gay, who hold their hands quite low, at least from the outside. When they're inside, if you've got any kind of brain, you put your hands up. But from the outside, people you can throw different shots, a better variety of shots. You can see better. The other guy doesn't see the shots coming as easily. But if you've got any kind of brain, you don't have your hands down when you're in close, in the pocket, as they say. I hate that expression. It's so lame, in the pocket. It's an American football expression, actually. But regardless, people always copy the same. They hear some expression, and they just repeat it. Becomes a cliche. It's like no one talks about their videos anymore except Chubby. They go, "Oh, I hope you like my content." Content is a vague term that encompasses all kinds, of creative work. It's silly if you're talking about your video. It's a video. Say what it is. It's a video. Anyway, yeah. So Adam Azim is one of the new batch of the Asian fighters and a big prospect, along with Hamza Shiraz. And I think they both got brothers. I can't remember. I mean, I'm sure they have, but brothers that box. But they're the two. They're the two top dogs. And they seem quite likable, both of them. Hamza's fighting Liam Williams, I think, this weekend. So I'll do a preview of that. Adam Azim is a super lightweight, or light welter, as I'd rather say. Super lightweight sounds weird. When I first started getting in boxing, I bought American magazines. I'm like, what is a super lightweight? What is a junior middleweight? I said, what is that, only for kids? I thought junior middleweight was what they call it, when it should be light middleweight. I thought it was for kids. Junior. What are the juniors? Junior middleweights. But yeah, I mean, that was when I was a youth. And, and super, super waterweight. What are you talking about? It's light middleweight. Enough of that. Septics, ruining the language. But yeah, so Adam Azim just he beat Enoch Paulson, who's from Denmark allegedly. And with a name like Paulson, you think he is Danish, but I think he's from Africa. Well, he's black anyway. But yeah, the shoulder came out. Even though he won the rounds, Azim, it was still an interesting fight, but the shoulder came out. So unsatisfactory way to win, but whatever. And what I wanted to talk about with Azim, though, is not his boxing. It's his goats. Well, it's one goat. It was quite weird. I thought it was quite sweet, right? So the story goes, he was driving past someone and he's seen a sign that says goats, £150. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to get a goat. He got up, he got a goat. So it's quite cool. He called it Tootsie, which is, I think it must be a girl goat. And he said, it's quite funny reading in Boxing News. Azim goes, yeah, actually, where when you know where to look, you can buy goats from loads of places. Once you know, you can see them for sale everywhere, continues Azim. I was in the car and saw a sign, goats for sale, and I thought, yeah, there were 7 or 8 goats. You can just go in there and choose a goat. I gave him £150 and then it's mine. And he paid in cash. And, and he goes, well, he carries on, yeah, I realised I couldn't really take him home straight away because my house is getting an extension. But I didn't just leave. I stuck him in the car and took him for a drive around the block first, and I'll take him back to the farm. It's kind of sweet, man. I quite like that, man. It's nice to have a pet. I like people that like animals, yeah? I can't trust anybody who doesn't like animals, and especially the worst ones, the ones that like killing them and talk to hurting them. And I know we eat meat, so there could be some hypocrisy, but the animals, God allows us to eat some certain animals, but they must be looked after in a nice way. All this disgusting, what they call it, the farming, when they just push these animals into and never see the light, and they're just in a tiny little space. I hate big companies, man. Because all the sick stuff that happens and all the plastics being thrown in the sea and all that, and all the pollution, and they blame us. Oh, you got to put everything in a recycle bin, which don't get recycled. It just gets thrown in the same landfill. It's another scam from the government. All the rubbish that happens in the world, right, comes from big companies. It sickens me. Anyway, yes, Adam Azim, but Tootsie. Bring his goat home. I'd like to see a picture. Maybe I'll have a look. See if we've got a picture on his Insta or whatnot. But the only thing, this is not necessarily, I've got to mention it, right? The only thing that, I don't believe this is the case with Adam. I just think he likes Azim and he's a bit quirky. He likes pets, he likes goats, he's a bit quirky. But the problem is this. His community, Arabs and Muslims, and Pakistanis, Afghans, people like that. Now, it's a cliche, but there's been a lot of evidence to back it up. Yeah? They like to grape goats. Now, not all of them, obviously, but there's a lot of goat graping that goes on in some of these communities, and also the men, unless they're married, they're more divided from the women in some countries, so they don't get no pum pum. And apparently some of them grape goats instead. And I had a friend who grew up on a farm. Yeah, his dad's a farmer, and he says to the chip, he goes, goats and sheep. I'm like, yeah. He goes, why people grape them? I'm like, well, I said where? Because they're sick and they're degenerate and the perverts. He's like, yeah, all that, of course, but they've got the same, exactly the same size of pum pum than a woman. I'm like, really? I said, well, thank you for that. He goes, yeah, you can, I've birthed lambs and stuff, and it's very similar to pum pum to a woman's. And I'm like, well, thank you for that, man. Thank you for that information. The Triple B is forever grateful. But believe that I would not be graping a goat or a sheep. You get me? But yeah, some of these communities, like, in Afghan and Pakistan, and like the drones, American drones and stuff in Afghan, there's loads of pictures of, goats being graped, which is quite creepy. So I'm hoping Adam Azim is not a goat graper or someone in his family. I hope he'll be real nice to his goat Tootsie. I don't know what he's going to do with it. I guess he just wants to have a pet, sit it in the garden and things. Animals are very, very interesting and lovely. So hopefully Adam Azim will not be graping Tootsie. And we'll look after the poor animal. I think it's definitely a pet. I don't think he would be eating it. I hope not. Like I said, as long as it's killed humanely, and then I have no problem with, but halal slaughter of animals is not very humane. It's not very humane. But anyway, yeah, hopefully it's just a pet. Poor old Tootsie's a pet and won't end up on Adam Azim's bed, or in Adam Azim's pot, his plate. So yeah, I thought that was a nice quirky little thing. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, peace in the Middle East, guys, and peace to all goats.